Okay. Yep. Back to this. I'm gonna call it evolution. Evolution of the Matrix. Um. It's like Paragathus. Uh. He's got this. I mean, right now there's heavy sacred geometry worship going on. This has gone on since the beginning of time. I mean, listen, you got to think. Symbols existed before people put a name on them. They were always there, though you can't see it out there somewhere. The fact that you can name it, it must have been there always. It's just until people were aware of it. Uh, it seemed like it was hidden, but it was always there. You know what I'm saying? For anyone who could just look out into the blackness and realize that there's something there. You know what I'm saying? That you cannot see, but it is there. It's kind of like when you close your eyes and you remember your mother on your 5th birthday. You know what I'm saying? You can recall pictures. I mean, I can't remember that, but I mean, I was just trying to use it as an example. I was trying to take you to a time, a place, and with a person. You know what I'm saying? That's how you. It's like the mind just goes. So when people can, you know what I'm saying? If they can take you there through your imagination, it's gonna. In normal people, regular people, it should stimulate something. But you know, some people they're afraid to think. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work on them. They'll resist. You know what I'm saying? They won't play the game. But anyway, the Aurora Borealis. I seen it the other day, and it 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 showed the northern lights from space, and I was like, that looks like a giant green snake in the sky. Then I was like, wait a second, why do all these ancient people, even the Vikings, they talk about this giant snake out in the ocean? Here's the thing, say you were a sailor, you would see the aurora borealis, man, because look, you're out there in these places where there's nothing around, nothing to contrast, nothing to block the vision, no light pollution. So you would see these things, and it'd be like, oh, look, that's the god snake. And you could see how the whole world kind of would, like, at night you see the sky snake, and the day you see the sun. The sun eats the sky snake, and it comes back out at night. I mean, it's just people had to explain things in a way, and by imagination and traditions of men, misinformation over years, the how story a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy over time loses its original crispiness. I mean, lack of a better term. So you can see how these things they can evolve over time, like evolution of the matrix. The term matrix, biblical term, refers to Egypt, and it refers to a mold, or it also refers to a womb. So a mold is like something that it's like you take a block of wood and you carve out the shape of a knife. Now you put this metal in the fire, it melts, it's liquid. You pour it in this mold, put another opposite mold on top, that's the other side, the inverse. And when it cools, it comes out in the shape of something. So, and in the sense of a womb, same thing. That form, that matrix, is a womb of that knife. It's like its mother was that block. So basically, the matrix is a womb that makes things uniformly. You know what I'm saying? It can take stones and turn them into bricks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've used this parable before because I think I learned it from this dude, from the Harbingers. This guy John Kahn or something like that, dude. He did this thing about Isaiah and the Twin Towers. How these presidents and politicians kept doing this, kind of like they were mocking God. They were saying, we don't care if you judge us, we're just gonna keep building. But this alchemy, okay, alchemy, there's definitely was Islamic alchemists, because Islam is an original religion. It's a composite religion. It's Mystery Babylon. I mean, look, how you listen, you're manly men who believe in one God. Why would you name your organization after a woman god? If you follow one God, how are you going to give homage to a woman god? S. You know, I don't believe in goddesses. Goddess worship is the Mystery Babylon religion. Uh, you're worshiping Ishtar, Semiramis, Liberty, Columbia, Venus, Aphrodite. Uh, many more names than that. Minerva. Uh, there's all these different names, and once again, it goes to show you, like, look, these are universal figures, entities, whether they were people seen them at one time, or it was just passed on, to such a point where, that's all people knew at the time. And I mean, it seems once again, listen, it's elevating a man into a god, elevating a woman into a goddess, and then through immaculate conception, a sun ray comes and impregnates this woman, and then the man is reborn through Tammuz, the sun, his son, Apollyon. You know what I'm saying? And this is a common theme in China. It's in India. It's in Egypt. It's in Greece. It's in Rome. It's here in America now. It was in the Mayans. They worshiped the sun. That's Apollo. No matter where you cut it, it's Apollo. And in the Bible, the Revelations 9:11, the angel of the bottomless pit is named Apollyon. The Satan seat is the temple of Zeus. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's kind of like this is my favorite description of the devil. It's Eddie Murphy in the Clumps. It's like Superman. He comes out as Clark Kent. He hits the booth. He comes out as Superman. Or Spider-Man bends a corner. He goes Peter Parker. Comes back a different guy. You know what I'm saying? So he masquerades as all these different parts. He's like the master of split personalities. You know what I'm saying? Of multiple identity. I mean, that's the way you could really think of it, because that's the way it truly is. It's masquerading as making yourself seem larger than you are. Like, there's a bunch of us, but there's really not. It's just a few. Well, there's a lot, but still, it seems like it's bigger than it is, because it's craftily cut up, concealed, repackaged. It's whack-a-mole. But you got, Sun Tzu, and he talks about the art of subtleness. You know what I'm saying? The art of war. This is obviously Azazel. Azazel was in China for sure. They got pyramids in China. They got pyramids in the Mayans. You got pyramids in India. You got pyramids in the Middle East. You got Greek pyramids. I mean, you got this. I mean, here, Mount Olympus is equivalent to the all-seeing eye. It's the same thing. It's just one's in Egyptian, one's in Greece. And I can't think at the moment what the equivalent in China would be, but it probably would just be the same thing. Oh, pagoda. You know what I'm saying? Possibly. I'm not sure if it's the same exact connection, but it could be. Because they're all, and the same thing. India's got these weird pyramidal pagodas. And you got them in Thailand. And they all worship they got 72. Like the number of virgins you get if you blow yourself up for Allah and you go to Valhalla like the Vikings. And you can find Middle Eastern swords that the Viking used to kill Europeans. So they were over there in the Middle East too, trading. And if you look at Russia, Russia is right above Europe, it's right above the Middle East, and it's right above China and all these other areas. So through Russia, in Russia, they found mummies of people with plaid on. So that means they came from Scotland. And they were chilling there, trading with Asians and Middle Easterners. So, I mean, they're concealing something from us about our past, that it was a lot more integrated, interconnected than they want us to know. And you can find this through the worship of the snake, the dragon, and the sun, and man. Because through these worships of the serpent, the snake, the kundalini, you know what I'm saying? The alchemical Kabbalah, it's like the Eastern Kabbalah. And then you got Middle Eastern Kabbalah, which is Babylonian, Jewish, Hebrew, mysticism. And it's the same thing. It's Pragathis, Greek. It's the I Ching kind of like ish. You know what I'm saying? Because these are mathematical algorithms and complex geometry. Here's another thing. You got the Sphinx with its hand on an urn. I seen one of those, but instead of the Sphinx being a woman, it was just a lion, but its hand was on a ball. And they say that this particular mathematical design on this ball that this lion is sitting there in China, which they got the Sphinx in Greece and in Egypt and in China, and this one in China has its hand on this ball that they say is the it's a mathematical code for anti-gravity. You know, and they worshipped the dragon, which is can be called a serpent, a flying serpent, literally a fiery flying serpent, like Isaiah. The snake it's the same thing. The snake, the sun snake, the serpent that eats its own tail. In Egypt, there was snake cults in Greece as well. I mean, death cults, Hades cults. I mean, look at all the gods. There was a cult dedicated to each one, and they all did their own human sacrifices or sex rituals or drug ceremonies, other weird. We can only imagine how crazy they got, because they got crazy. Because from what they do now, from what we know they have done, you could speculate to how far they could push it. That's as far you can push it as far as you can go, and they've done went there at some time, and they will probably go there again. I mean, if they're not already in secret. But this also, here you go, that the dragon snake, sun dragon snake, man, literally was in the Mayan religion. It's the same thing. How? Oh yeah, here's another thing. From Russia, if you go north of Russia, you'll pop over the other side of the earth, and you go to the left or the right. Left would be South America, the bottom, and to the right would be Africa, bottom of Africa. So the Vikings, if you listen to the Quetzalcoatl and all this, sometimes it sounds like they're describing Viking people. And if you listen to their sagas, it's maybe possible there could be some intermingling of mythology there, but it's not. It's a mythology. It's only it's man. It's their analogies and parables of things, real things. But then again, listen, man has a tendency to let his imagination run with him. It's like King Arthur's knights. Fictional guy, well, real guy, but it's a fictional account of a real guy that they don't even really know anything about. And it's romanticized over and over again, and it gets farther and more stretched and exaggerated, more fanciful and grandiose over time. And so stretched out and people have been believing it for so long, they don't want to let go of it. It's like I read things about Indians sometimes, and you read historical things, it's like, you're like, yeah, or even the Bible, you don't never want to hear your person die, but they do. It's the thing about when you read about history, you know what I'm saying? So you tend to, you don't want to close the chapter because it's, you never want a good book to end, a good video game to end, or a good movie always ends too quick. You know what I'm saying? And same thing, at least with this, when you take on a broad subject like this, I mean, it's a task. It keeps you going for a long time. It'll keep you busy, uh, seeking it out, man, because it's deep, it's broad. But I mean, it's revelatory, man, to biblical understanding, secular understanding, historical understanding, mythological understanding, spiritual understandings. I mean, it floods over into all things, because it's like you got to seek out and prove prove it and reprove it again. You know what I'm saying? And it also says, the Bible has given us authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and no authority over all works of darkness, not to participate in them, but instead expose them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to do here, not encourage people to practice these things. Do not cut out hearts. Don't go into the dark occultism. Don't blindly chase after Satan. Oh shit.